squatters.
This guy just literally broke down my door. You shouldn't be trying to steal my house.
Hey! You want to assault? You want to
Get out of my home!
This is Seattle, Washington, a city where you can legally steal other people's homes.
Are they going to pay your legal fees?
Off the property!
Are you going to pay rent this month?
If you're on vacation, they can come. Anyone can stay.
How is this legally even possible?
They fully moved in there. They had suitcases, bags, they had food in the fridge.
Our children were traumatized by this experience.
It goes back to the old times where it's like when you showed up and you took some land, I feel like that's the times we're getting back to.
Being arrested.
For what?
For being in my own home.
If the woman says it's her property and he says he lives here and she says they're squatting, she would have to go to court and go through the entire legal process to have him evicted.
Yeah, but I live here.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Sure.
Well, good for you.
You'll kick me out.
So in order to establish proof of residency, pretty much, is that all they have is like they need like some item in the house, pretty much, right? Like if they have like a clothing in the house or like anything at all, it's established residency. They pretty much live there.
It's a civil
Remember how that works?
This state is so broken. Oh my God.
If the owner of the property sees this, what's a message you'd like to give to him? It seems like
Sorry.
I headed to the epicenter of the crisis,
how it works.
Seattle, Washington, to meet up with local journalist Jonathan Cho to see what's going on. Who's been exposing the squatting epidemic and the broken laws protecting them, starting with Sang Kim. He recently made national headlines for squatting in this $2 million property in Bellevue, Washington. After the entire neighborhood banded together to shame Kim out of the neighborhood, Seattle's Housing Justice Project paid $88,000 in delinquent rent for Kim to his missed rent out of taxpayer dollars.
How much longer are you going to be staying here, sir?
Get out of the property!
He intentionally is not paying rent. He's exploiting the system.
But why is Kim still squatting in this house, and why won't he simply leave?
Morning, Jonathan. We're back.
Hey, what's up? Back at the scene of the crime, man.
So right behind us, we have a beautiful view. We're in a nice-ass neighborhood. How much are these houses?
I mean, on average, $2 to $3 million. This is the elite Woodridge neighborhood with gorgeous skylines of downtown Bellevue. I mean,
Dude,
everyone wants to
this
live here.
neighborhood
And when I
sucks.
mentioned squatters to you,
Dude, I don't know why these neighborhoods that like zip codes that are super expensive don't have like nice like roads and shit, like nice sidewalks. Dude, I'm just saying like it's not, it doesn't look finished. Like the lamps aren't cool. It's just not cool. If it's that expensive of a fucking zip code and shit, and you pay a bunch of extra money to the city and shit like that or whatever, dude, make it better.
you said you got to come
It's
down.
not that
here. I have
hard,
a
dude.
story for you. And then I saw the story pop up on my Twitter feed.
You can't make this stuff up. It's now a global story. I mean, you've got Daily Mail on this.
Looks
You've got
fine.
The Mirror,
Yeah,
The
but you're not
Sun,
paying-
National Net.
You did it. You say it looks fine, but you're not paying a fine price. You're paying a luxury price. You're paying like over the top price. So you think it's fine? Makes no sense. It should be great.
Looks like Fox News covering this. You've got this guy, Kim, who's been staying at this house now for more than 2 years now, and he hasn't paid a single penny of rent after the first month, that is.
So we're going to knock on Kim's door right now, ask him if he's going to pay this upcoming rent. So right in front of us, we have 2 no trespassing, 3 no trespassing signs, car parked right in front.
Problem now here in Washington is that the homeowner, Jaskaran Singh, even if he wants to evict the guy, there's a backlog of eviction cases in court. It's a broken system. If Kim doesn't pay in May, Singh says he will start the eviction process for the 4th time. There have been nearly 2 months of protests, public shaming of Kim to get out, but still, Kim is hunkering down.
So Kim did in fact eventually pay the amount he was owed.
Housing Justice Project used taxpayer dollars. That's the key. And he knows the system so well that he can take advantage of it.
But before I confront the squatter, let's talk to the homeowner.
There he is. I'm here with
That's complete
Just Karan
fucking
Singh.
cancer.
Singh. You own this home, right?
Yes, sir.
How much did this home cost?
Right now, value is close to $2 million. So I lived in this country 18 years. This is my second investment property, and it took me a while. It's
Okay.
my hard-earned money invested here.
And who currently lives in this home?
He's a squatter. He has been exploiting the system since 1996. He has done multiple scams, and being an immigrant, I was tricked by him, and I trusted him and his family to give him on a rent, but he's not leaving for last 2 years, and he's exploiting the system.
How did it go down?
He paid the first month, and the second month, and the last month as a security deposit, and he didn't pay afterwards.
Okay.
4th eviction if he doesn't pay the rent next week.
So when you say 4th eviction, what does that even mean? I would assume the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd would get him out of the house.
That means there's a housing justice project. The system is protecting basically. He's paying his rent through our taxpayer money. He's getting lawyers from our taxpayers' money. he's milking the system, and we need to stop it.
How much money have you lost on the
Oh,
property
I get
since
it.
he's been?
Because some is backlogged and it takes a long time for because there's no court availability. They're like paying the damage that the backlog is causing. So basically, he's like being bridged to the next notice next, and it's never ending pretty much.
It's a lawyer fee close to 35,000. The rent is paid, but the mental, I live just 1,000 feet from the property, and I can't drive on this road, and we can't walk in cement.
You legally cannot drive through this road.
Yeah, legally I was not able to till last Wednesday, and this should be a message to all the squatters that we will get you.
We will get
relatable,
you.
actually. Holy shit.
Enough is enough. If you're on vacation, they can come. Anyone can sit. So
Relatable.
watch out, guys. It's I expected, and people from India, Australia, England, my friends, relatives, they're calling me. They're saying, "What?
That's not what's for me.
This is what happened in
Even
America?"
though, bro, I hate to bring this up again. Even though it was my house, I'm the only one on the title. It was the house that I bought and built. Okay, not only was I not allowed to go in my house, I couldn't even go near the house either.
Do you think he'll pay rent this month?
I have no idea.
Like,
I have
dude,
no idea.
Knock on the
that's
door and
just
ask him.
fucking insane.
Go ahead.
But before I knocked on Kim's door, I wondered, what does the neighborhood think about this?
This is a nice neighborhood you guys live in.
Thank you. Yeah, we
My
love
name's
it.
Tyler, by the way.
Jeff.
How much do houses typically go for around here?
Recently, there's been some selling for 2.5, 3.
Okay.
New houses are going for almost 4.
These houses
You
are
own a
shit,
home out
man.
here?
Yes, this one right behind me.
How would you feel if someone moved into your home when you were on vacation and then refused to leave?
That would be unbelievable. I don't know what I would do.
Sure.
I would probably first call the police to see if they could be removed, but with the situation we have across the street, obviously that's not a deal.
Do you think the law is on the
Even if you sell the
homeowner side
houses,
here in
they're occupants.
Washington?
No, not
No.
currently, because we thought, once we sell this house, if we could afford to hang on to it, we'd like to rent it out. But after the last year, this guy across the street, we've thought differently about that.
Wait, on paper, this guy could fucking sell his house to somebody, right? And then never give the house to the person and just live in it. And the new owner of his own house, and he would have like 3 mil of liquidity he could invest or spend. No? On paper, couldn't this guy sell the house to somebody and then live in it and be like, oh, evict me?
I don't understand why
All the deeds.
he's
Gotcha.
been able to remain in there. I understand there's a housing project that will pay his rent, but I think the taxpayers are the ones paying for that money that's going to him.
Sure. Do you think the laws in Washington should change as it relates to squatting?
Absolutely. I think King County needs to do a lot of stuff. Ever since they started making drugs legal over there in Seattle and stuff, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but we're considering moving out of this state.
All right, we're going in.
So this is where it gets weird. I don't know if Kim will come to the door if I'm there.
All right, give me a moment. So maybe you should go. Hey there. What was that? We're here with the press. We're just seeing if we could talk to you about the squatting situation.
What situation?
The squatting situation.
It's already been settled and all that. So
Okay, we're wondering if
Please
are
get off
you gonna pay rent this month?
Can you please get off the property?
Yeah. Well, we got
Get off the
authorization from the
Get
landlord
off the
to come.
property.
Sure.
I'm the one who's living here. Get off the property.
Okay. Is HJP gonna pay your
Get
legal
off the
fees this
property,
month?
Please.
Are they gonna pay your legal
Get
fees?
off the property.
Sure. No, we will leave. But we're just wondering if you're gonna pay your rent and redeem.
Chat, on paper, Chad, the guy who owns the house, right? Not the tenant. Couldn't the guy hire repairs or landscaping people and put really fucking loud ass machines that like ultra big fucking lawnmowers in the front lawn all day?
Redeem yourself.
I mean,
My
he's
business,
just
not yours.
taking care of his
Okay.
property. He's not
Well,
allowed
it's
to.
taxpayers' business, right?
No, it's not. Property.
What if the taxpayers are paying your legal fees?
They're not paying money.
Not this time? All right, well,
Set up an
here's the
oil
thing I want
rig.
to emphasize, that from his perspective, he's the victim.
He's always framed himself as the victim, as this Korean national who's just trying to live the American dream. He's not trying to hurt anybody, but in fact, everyone's hurt him. And he uses, Mr. Singh as an example of a crooked landlord who never fixed any of the appliances and just would constantly pressure him. But as you know, Singh also had a temporary protection order filed against him by Mr. Kim, and Singh prevailed. He won in court.
So there's no world where
Yeah, 'cause
Josh
these things are
Grant
easy to
could
get.
come in here, change the locks, and they could leave.
This is a
That's
big
not gonna
problem
happen
in a
because I
fair
think
amount
that's
of you
against the law
countries
here
as
in
well. It's
Washington
not
State,
just
Matt.
a
You would go
problem,
to
it's a
jail.
global brain
Go to
degeneration
prison.
anyway. If
Since
you enter
filming
my
this
house
same
without
kid-
permission, don't be surprised if I enter yours without permissions. Game is game.
Interesting.
has refused to pay rent on time again, and Jaskaran will be moving forward with his 4th eviction attempt. After meeting the intermediate squatter Kim, what does the beginner squatter look like? I met up with Andrea Suarez, founder of We Heart Seattle, who said she knew where we could find some squatters nearby.
Up until recently, this building was used as a squatter's haven, and just recently fenced off, and recently we're seeing action here where it's being finally demolished. This was, I guess, had been squatted in for months. The neighbors had called multiple 911s, multiple fires. Nothing was ever done about it. The police couldn't really do anything about trespassing because it's on private property. Yeah, you can see all the boards, all the access points, the broken windows. I'm sure there was working plumbing, showers.
You seen anything going on here as it relates to squatting?
Like, I have noticed that, like, this house has been pretty much squatted or unoccupied for, like, the last 2 years I've lived here.
2 years?
Yeah, like, I've literally never, ever seen anyone live here or, like, anyone actually own the house, it seems like.
What are your thoughts on squatter rights here in Seattle?
I mean, I think it's a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. I just think they have a little too much rights for what it is. Like, I mean, people work hard to own a house like this, and to literally, if they're just looking to rent it out, they can't find someone to rent. Like, rent's ridiculously expensive right now, so it's like, just someone can pretty much just hop into a lot of these houses. A lot of them are unoccupied, and I think that's a little ridiculous for how hard a lot of the people work around here, how expensive a lot of these houses and the property is.
Thanks, man. Okay, what do we got?
All right, this one's abandoned here.
Do we think there's a squatter inside?
Oh, this one looks like it's open.
Yeah, it looks pretty active. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, that looks, no, it's a dead end.
See the roof.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nightmare, man, for all the neighbors who have to live next to these empty houses that are probably set for demolition. And the squatters know where to go, and people live in here. And, you know, there's no heat, there's no electricity, so you've got to stay warm, right? So you start fires. And that's why you have all these scorch marks on pretty much every single structure here.
It's the fire, the murder, the body, the outrage by neighbors, calls to the mayor, media that is in critical mass is finally, then there's action. Tragedy always has to happen multiple times before action has been taken, and thankfully we're seeing that action being taken now. We've cleared over 1.2 million pounds of trash, 35,000 needles. We've found 12 dead bodies, and we've helped hundreds of people off the streets, into detox, back home, back to mom, back to grandma, back to their families, get clean and sober, get a job, because it doesn't seem like any other social service wants to do anything but enable addiction.
People that live right here, I just want to emphasize, we have lights on.
I think some people, dude, this is gonna be like an out of touch take, okay? But I feel like whenever you live in a house and you own it or whatever, it's like your thing is like, it's like very personal, dude. If somebody goes into your house and then injects themselves and fucking people like do shit in your house, it's like, it's just really sad. Like, it's like your space, you know? And for it to be like damaged like that, it's like you don't even want to go back to it, you know?
This is someone's property, right
It's
next
just
to them,
fucking dog
active
shit,
squatters,
man.
active fire, building getting shut down. They said a body was found out here?
Yeah, bodies unfortunately get dumped in these empty
I would hate
houses,
that.
abandoned buildings. So who knows what's going on in these places. Right now it's boarded up, but I truly believe within a matter of weeks, somebody's going to try to go back in.
I mean, if you peer through the window there, oh, it's like freshly boarded off. We're gonna go to another property where active squatting is going down and meet a guy named Caesar, the king himself. Looks like she's found out where it is. Got the needle caps. I think we've arrived. Watch your back, don't get mugged. Use common sense, genuinely, I don't trust this.
Remember the last squatter motel?
Yep.
The hilltop? Just a few hundred feet down.
Right over there.
Demolished. Next to all these squatter houses. It makes all the sense.
This is where we pulled over, found the guys.
Yeah.
It burned down.
Got urine bag here, guys.
Wow, there's urine bags.
Caesar, welfare check.
Several houses on this side of the road alone. Look. Hey, you okay?
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, hey.
Hey there. Whoa, yo.
What the fuck?
How you doing, bro?
Guys.
What
We
the
didn't know if you were
fuck,
alive.
bro?
I'm alive. I just didn't. I want to work on that card, bro.
Dude, we gotta talk.
Oh my God.
Last time we saw you, you
I'm
were in the
Boston right now, bro.
Dude! We meet again! This is Caesar. 4 months ago, Jonathan and I found him squatting in this abandoned building, and 11 days later, the building was found to have burned down. I had no clue what happened to him since, and the viewers loved him.
I love squatting.
Tools.
I'm a boss. You got my Ray-Rays right here, my Ray-Ban. You know, this is where I'm going to make my fortune.
Are you concerned about this right here, the propane tank? No?
No, man. I done firefighter training. Like,
Really?
I got a lot of skills, Ray.
Yeah, the editing these videos, I'm telling you, they're always
Dude, how did it go? What
Remember
happened?
us, right?
Yeah.
unhinged.
Me and Tyler. We came last time.
We've reunited. Can we see what's going
I
on?
recognize your voice.
Yeah.
So I'm painting right now. So just mind your clothes, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, heard.
Andrea.
So we met the man who we spoke to in the building that burned down. I want to hear your story, man. What happened to the building?
Dude was gay, bro, and he wanted to do gay stuff with me.
Oh, he was trying to smash?
Yeah, and I was like, I'd rather burn in hell. And he tried to burn me, Holmes.
Trying to kill you?
I assume.
He tried to kill you in the fire?
You
Why,
lit the
this
fire,
guy's got a
bro.
good
He lit the
setup.
fire
What
to
the
spite you
fuck?
because you guys wouldn't have gay sex?
I don't know, bro. I haven't like.
I thought he might not even be alive. No, dude, Sizer, we have so many people on the internet that have believed in you, wanted to hear what happened to you. We found you. We know you were Sizer.
I knew you guys were gonna find me because this is the way it works, bro. You know that's how God works.
Sizer, 10 million people saw you, and you saw the video, right?
But what am I supposed to do, bro? Hop on nutsacks or what? Like, I'm over here chilling, dude. Like, all this right here is all dumpster dive.
Wow. This is the most unexpected reunited moment of all time. We never thought we'd see you again. So we got wet paint. I just want to establish, Sizer, you've been grinding since we last saw you.
Nah, these clothes go
I
hard
don't
though.
have tape. I can't afford it.
So tell me about your project in here. It's blue. It's nicely painted.
Oh, well, first I painted it white. I wanted white on white.
I want to hear a story here. Yeah, let's.
But then I ran out of paint. What are you supposed to do? So
I'm gonna let it be known. You have like $1 million view right here. Look at this. That's badass, dude.
I know.
Have you spoken to the owner?
Man, you guys are crazy, dog. They're trying to knock
the
down the
fuck?
door. I was like, I recognize your voice and what you were talking about. I was like, oh, that's that fool.
So actually, I want to bring this up, Caesar. We have some Australian YouTubers who thought we burned down the building after meeting you.
Wait, look what it says in the corner. The footage of the house burning is from the Cho show.
Wait, the news footage used Cho's footage?
Yeah.
That means he was the first
He was
one
the
there.
first person there. After all the shit I've seen in this video, I'm gonna say, just my opinion, not real. These guys burnt these men alive.
What actually happened?
You know, the toilet flush is backwards down there, so I don't know.
I remember last time we saw the porn on the wall. Was that you or
No,
the
that was
guy?
the other fool. So that was what he was aspiring to be like.
Oh, the woman. He wanted to be the woman.
Dude, yeah, so like, I thought he was just weird. You're in Seattle, bro. There's a lot of weird shit, so like, I
Caesar,
should've.
I actually made a comment. I said at least you're straight, but that guy wasn't straight.
No, so I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, shit.
So, Caesar, you know you're squatting though, right?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do though? Like, I don't want to work for anybody else because they just keep douching me, bro. Like,
Can you give us a tour, as per usual? Caesar, where are you finding all this gear?
walking around, bro, looking for weed roaches on the floor.
Caesar, you're a hustler, man. You got another, once again, sick view right here. What do you think this property is worth, Caesar? This is sick.
It's pretty sick, bro.
Wait, this is
Miller too?
I don't know, bro, but I'm hoping to impress the property owner when he comes kicking me out.
If the owner of the property sees this, what's a message you'd like to give to him? It seems like
Sorry. I'm here to do this for me and for my future, and this is just the best I could come up with as far as showcasing my skills.
Sure.
They know how they left it.
Oh, you got a trap phone too.
That's the state phone.
Woo!
This one. That's what begging Ari.
Yeah.
So I turn off the speaker.
Keeping it quiet at night, no fires, no parties, so you're added security to the block.
That's what he feels like. The other day he was like, "Thank you," and I was like,
I hear that, you know.
That's
That's interesting.
It's better to have a known neighbor and resident than a revolving door. So you're holding down the fort.
all those little
And that door stays locked at night?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on anymore.
So all those little things add up to confidence.
Because I don't even know. I don't know
And
whose
trust,
team
and
is
those
on the
are
whose
things
team.
that
I don't know what the
Penguin
fuck
needs
I'm
from
even
his
watching
client.
it.
He's speaking business needs right now. You got all your tools back too?
Watch.
Get the Yo!
So the hats they go on the wall.
What?
You are dripped out, Caesar. With Ari blasting in the background and a baseball cap collection that would make Lids jealous, Caesar was renovating the abandoned building and ready to leave if and when the owner asked him to. In this scenario, unlike Sang Kim in Bellevue, landowners might actually benefit from having a guy like Caesar live full-time in this abandoned building until they want it back, assuming he's responsible and doesn't burn the place down. Caesar, it's been a pleasure, man. But what happens when you buy a home and there's an old tenant who's been living in there rent-free for the last 2 years, who refuses to leave, leaving you with $1.4 million less dollars, stuck with legal fees in court for the last 8 months, and forcing you and your 4 kids to move in with your mom and dad? Well, that's allegedly the case of our alleged white-collar squatter, Steve Hickey.
We just want to take a look at the squatting epidemic in the United States, but this is unique because we have a guy in a position of power, relative wealth, doing well for himself. He's not some degenerate, jobless bum breaking into someone's house. This is a well-known figure in the community. Is he legally allowed to be there right now?
Based on what I can tell, I mean, the answer is no.
Just for the viewers out there,
Dude, see, when you say this, they didn't give a fuck about squatting or the law. They just want content fiends. Yeah, but like, I don't think they pretend to care about the law either. Like this is like a demon content demon YouTuber, right? But who cares? Like, it's just like it doesn't
month or two
do
ago,
anything.
I called someone out as a scammer.
It's just content.
And it turns out they weren't exactly a scammer. So coming into this situation, I'm a little bit skeptical. I want to make sure this guy is in fact innocent till proven guilty. We want to hear both sides fully and then come to a conclusion, if any.
Yeah, you know, and this is really complicated for me as well. I was a little hesitant to take on this story, and frankly, I don't know where it's going to go because it's still early on. He's not only an industry colleague, I would consider him a friend, somebody who's given me news tips, somebody who's helped me out in the field, like one of the nicest guys you'll meet. But the allegations are just like too ridiculous now to ignore. So as a journalist, I've just got to be objective now. He has more than 1 million followers on all of his social media platforms, and he's just well respected, and he does decent work, especially during a time when American journalism is in decline. Frankly, I've, called him several times already and had private conversations, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if these are true, these allegations that is, but if they are, you got to settle these. And I've just tried to walk him off the cliff and say, look, man, it's not worth your career. He knows the law. He knows how to take advantage of the system.
Before confronting Steve at his own garage sale, Jonathan and I were invited to a victims party hosted by several alleged victims of Steve, appearing in person and on Zoom.
I'm here with
Lee Strom.
And what did Steve do to you?
Steve,
previous owner of home that is allegedly being squatted,
failed to meet his contractual requirements about 3.5 years into a 5-year contract. He stopped paying any rent as he was supposed to and became a squatter.
And he cost you roughly
$150,000 plus attorney fees.
Katrina Freitag. I purchased this home from the Stroms, of which Steve Hickey has been squatting in since September of 2023.
How much in delayed or absent rent have you not received from Steve Hickey?
Since purchasing the home, so over 7 months.
Which would equate to roughly?
Upwards of probably $50,000.
Jessica Scotti and Chris Scotti.
What did Steve do to you guys?
Well, the home that we're sitting in, he basically backed out once he had quite a bit of money that he could get his hands on from our bank loan money from Flagstar Bank. So we basically were left in shambles with about $40,000 in liens, as well as about $90,000 in bank money that was still should have been accounted for that he could not provide the proof of where that money went.
So now we're in the process today, of really vetting what's going on, and we're trying to connect the dots and really follow the paper trail to see where this goes. Because what I
feel like the stories are oversimplified. I feel like we're missing a part here. I think maybe some due diligence wasn't done here by some of these
laid
people.
out to Steve was that his career was on a rocket ship. Why would you risk everything that you've accomplished to allegedly squat in a house? To me, that made no sense.
I know multiple people that invested with him that some of them just want to move on with their life. He wreaked so much havoc in people's lives. One of them was my wife threatened to divorce me. I had to pull out a home equity line of credit to pay the guy off to get him out of my life. He plays on people's emotional and he just wears them down, and to the point where you're just I just need to keep moving on with my life. But he's wreaked havoc on so many and allegations, but I know this is true from what I've heard. He stole from a quadriplegic vet, somebody who served and protected our country.
Okay, can you explain your guys' relationship with Steve Hickey?
Yes. I have no complaints about Steve up through 2021.
Okay.
It was in 2022, in April in particular, that he stopped making payments. And after April, we went through a phase where he was trying to renegotiate the deal. We never could come to terms with each other on that renegotiation. And in June of 2022, he told us he was going to purchase the property, which was great. We, in fact, signed papers. Notary came to our house in Arizona. Everything looked good, but the money never transferred. It never happened. And when I questioned him about that,
what?
He just at one point just said, I'm not going to pay you.
So real quick, before you sold the property to Katrina, how much money was delinquent that he owed you via rent?
Roughly $150,000.
Was there any additional counsel
he
or
signed
legal
over the
fees
house
that
without
you
getting paid?
incurred throughout that process?
Yeah, about $32,000 up to this point in time because we were still pursuing him legally.
And during that 15 months of delinquency or lack of payment, did you try to evict him from the property?
Yes. In fact, we went to arbitration because our contract called for that. We prevailed in that arbitration.
I get it. He never had any intention of actually buying it with money because he doesn't have the money. Buys the house and then doesn't pay, and then they have to go through all the legal process to get their money, and it takes like fucking forever.
He was ordered to pay us, and he just ignored it, essentially.
Rather than paying the amount in full, he went to court with you and also incurred legal fees, battled it out in court?
We're still battling, yes.
To this day?
To this day.
So after a year and a half of not paying his rent, you sell this property while he's still in it to Katrina?
Yes, and we were very upfront about the situation at the time. Once she's able to get him out of there and get the property back up to speed,
that's
a I think, cover.
Okay,
and
her legal team did very poor risk analysis. That is fucking...
Katrina thought he may leave?
I believe that's true, but you should ask her.
Attorneys reviewed the situation. He was in the house, and I believe it was a 5-year lease agreement was to be up end of September, and he had not paid rent.
So it was under your belief that he would leave the property at what point in time?
When I purchased the home, we submitted a vacate notice and lease termination for 90 days. December 31st, he was to be moved out.
And did he move out?
No, he has squatted since, have not received any rent money.
He really fooled us, is what I would say. When he dropped off his first rent checks, he came in a helicopter and did it. He landed in the front yard in a helicopter.
Wow.
With a film crew.
What?
He was actually flying the helicopter.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It really just made us feel more sure about this guy.
He's steady financially.
Yeah, that's the con man part of it.
You've never gotten to move in, enjoy the home.
No, the primary purpose was for my primary residence with my 4 young children to be raised in the residence, enjoy the property.
Financially, how much has his occupation or squatting in the property cost you thus far?
Just in rent alone, that's about $50,000. Attorney's fees, I did have.
Because I don't want to blame the victim here, and I'm trying not to, okay? But like, very poor risk analysis. Like, again, this is so stupid. I mean, she knew that the guy was already trolling, and she knew that this was a complete disaster, and then bought the property on the basis that, oh, it's gonna get fixed and things are gonna be like abiding to the contract, when the guy has shown that he's not abiding by the contract in every way he can.
This point with my current attorney, it's upwards of I would say $40,000, including damages caused to the home itself during site visits. It is not being kept up as well as maintained at the very least. So I believe that's upwards of probably another $75,000 to $100,000.
And why did you agree to speak with us about the situation?
I feel it's the right thing to do. Not only supporting landlords in Washington State, but King County as well, the current timelines in getting a show cause hearing to actually get a squatter out. And what is that doing to those landlords?
Can you guys explain your relationship to Steve Hickey?
In 2020, right? We met with him to interview him to be our builder for this home.
This beautiful property with a triple rainbow behind us.
Thank God we were able to keep it after what he put us through.
So you contacted Steve and asked him to do what specifically?
Well, to be our builder. Steve basically was approved, and then we went through the process of basically allowing him our entire loan construction fund that was allotted to us to build this home.
Did you vet Steve at all before you hired him?
Well, based on the fact that he put our children on his fire truck, he was a man of the community. He was sitting at District 47 as a commissioner, fire protection agency. I mean, he had his whole shtick down. So we just proceeded. So he was literally wired our money every time we got a bank wire for supplies or the next phase in the project.
How much money in total was wired to Steve for the construction of this home?
The total amount that was in question that he should have showed receipts for was about $90,000 that he just skipped town and walked away with. We said, show us where the money went.
And he said?
And he said, no.
And then what happened?
And after that, the communication went silent.
The stress of it, my husband has an autoimmune disorder that's triggered by stress, and he almost was hospitalized. Our children were traumatized by this experience.
Yeah. How would you characterize Steve from your time meeting him and spending time with him? How is he as a person?
Dude,
I mean,
think we're
he's
missing
a
so many
criminal.
parts of the...
Do you think he'll try to lie to us tomorrow when we confront him with the evidence in case?
Of course he will.
Was Steve a white-collar squatter, or does he have rights to the house? And if so, is the legal system broken in Seattle? It was time to meet Steve himself at his own garage sale at the property he's allegedly squatting in as we speak.
I don't know how he's going to respond, Tyler. So I'm hoping that it's respectful. I hope that, he shares his side of the story. I hope that this is all a misunderstanding. Quite frankly, Steve has so much to lose. So I'm wondering why he would take this risk and gamble, because he has a career as an independent journalist. He's an elected fire commissioner.
Yeah, but how does what he's doing go against that? These are not things that interact with one another that much. Like,
he's got a family, he's got a daughter.
Unless he's a crime, being sued civilly for some house dispute isn't gonna clap your fucking your career that much. If he's like an independent guy. Guys, I'm just saying how the world works. It's not how I feel about it.
Let's see what he has to say.
Okay, so with eviction notices, confirmation via court.
Guys, the guy does TikTok and Instagram and shit like that. People in those things don't give a fuck. They look at the content, they scroll. They look, they scroll. You think they go, is this guy a good person? Is this guy a good human? They don't give a fuck. What the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Confirming Hickey's failure to pay since February of 2022, and text between Steve and Jonathan giving Steve a chance to explain what was going on 2 weeks ago, that Steve eventually ghosted after saying he would personally send Jonathan's way. How would Steve defend himself?
Does he have any evidence that he could present that would invalidate any of these claims?
So far, I haven't seen anything, and I've asked him now for nearly 2 weeks to produce something that would show that he has a right to stay in the property. I've given him every opportunity.
Maybe it is a big misunderstanding.
I hope it is.
We're gonna go there now and give him a chance to speak for himself.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Steve, how's it going, man? My name's Tyler. So we're doing a piece on squatting here in Seattle. We wanted to reach out. My name's Tyler.
You guys yesterday, right?
What was that?
The attorney got a hold of you.
We wanted to ask you a little bit about that, actually.
Come on back here.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate that. How are you doing today, by the way?
Doing okay.
Are you calling the cops? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, come on. We can do it.
Okay. Oh, we wanted to give you an honest chance to just kind of explain it.
You didn't fly out here for an honest chance. You know that.
What do you mean?
You wouldn't fly all the way out here for none.
What are you talking about?
Apparently, they're online YouTubers. That's what they're saying. One of them's Jonathan Cho. Another one is Tyler Oliveria. Well, they're here with microphones in my face, wanted to ask questions.
Brother, is it? This guy seems to know the law based on squatting or whatever, and he doesn't know the law. Dude, if he says, get off the property, don't come here, now they're trespassing if they don't leave, and now they're in the wrong. The guy invited them in the backyard and then telling the police that they're trespassing? What?
But I want you guys to get out here as soon as possible because they were already told through the attorneys not to come on the property.
Start from the beginning here.
I'll tell you, there's been an ongoing real estate contract dispute.
Makes
I know
no
Jonathan's
sense at
making
all.
a name right now.
He says it's not his property, but legally, since he's squatting, it's some bullshit loophole where technically he's like a tenant. So you guys saying that is stupid. It doesn't make sense. Like, he's technically like a tenant or like an occupant.
Bringing out a squatter out in Bellevue, which is a clear squatter. He's been doing quite well with that. This is not that. This is a real estate transaction gone bad. The litigation shows that. We are currently in litigation on this. I come in here, giving the previous owner hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash for rights to purchase the property. He then blocked me at every turn to execute those rights. That's what we're in contract for. I'm not going to give you paperwork that's involved in an ongoing litigation. If you guys want to do that, you obviously have paperwork, have at it. I'm not going to participate in that show. Does this look like a squat? Is there piles of trash and so on? Like, this is not that type of situation.
Steve was right. Technically, he's a holdover tenant. And here's a lawyer explaining the difference.
Well, in Seattle, we make a distinction, and actually across the state of Washington, between squatting and, say, someone who's a holdover tenant. Let's say I go away on a vacation, and someone breaks into my home and starts living there. That's a squatter. That's different than if I rent someone else a home, and then they stop paying me. Now we have a legal dispute about debt and how much they owe, and maybe the condition of the property.
So squatting, holdover tenants, two different legal categories altogether?
Yeah.
She owns the home, right?
She bought the home, yes.
She owns the home.
We can keep playing this game, or you can let me speak. Which would you like to do?
The previous owners have stated you failed to pay rent for a year and a half. Is that accurate?
The previous owners breached contract.
In what ways?
It's all in the paperwork. They breached contract, failed to perform, and then I withheld performance after they failed to perform. It's just that simple. She should have not closed on the home. She should have let this resolve itself and done a purchase pending this resolution. I was blown away that she was willing to close under that pretense. No savvy buyer would have done anything like that. She is a savvy buyer. Why is Jonathan after me, though? Why do you think that is? Instead of the 100 other people who've actually taken money, because one of his big narratives is Kim's been taking money to cover his rent, right? From this, that's never.
Yeah, this whole narrative of like, oh, they failed to perform the contracts. I'm gonna fail the whole. Dude, sometimes like there's some like very minimal things in a contract, like like keep the light on at night or some shit like that. Oh well, they forgot to turn the lights on at fucking 8 p.m. instead of 7. Oh well, I'm done paying it. I'm done taking care of the property. I'm done cutting the grass. Like, dude, like, yeah, you can play that game if you want to.
That's not what this is. This is a real estate purchase contract gone sideways.
But the truth is, after requesting court documents from King County and reading hundreds of pages of case documents, Housing Justice Project was, in fact, involved and legally represented Steve in the early stages of this process. Now he has a new attorney fighting on his behalf.
Well, I want to emphasize that this isn't just about you. You're an example.
I don't believe it's just about me, but for you to fly all the way out here and come here, especially after what the attorney
we flew out to the state of Washington.
Steve, here's what the fact of the matter is. You said you would send me documents.
I did not say I would send you documents. I said I would talk to the attorney, and you can get anything you want.
Jonathan, can you read the text?
Go for it.
I mean, I have the text right here. We now have more than a dozen other victims who say you've run a construction hustle.
That's bull.
This one.
That's bull.
So you can take this this all goes away if you show documents that show you own this house and you're not squatting.
So you want me to show you documents that are part of ongoing litigation?
Yeah.
Bull.
Steve, can I ask, why would you be opposed to simply showing a lease agreement you have
because we're
that's
in
valid?
Court arguing it. Why wouldn't you actually support the law system that is in place here?
So did you pay for those 15 months? Simple question.
He did not. He failed on his end of the contract, which is what we
Did you pay for those 15 months?
He failed to end on the end of the contract.
How did he fail?
He did not let me execute the contract as it said I could. It's been very clear in the court system.
Can you elaborate?
No.
Now, while Steve refuses to elaborate, the fact that he has refused to pay rent and remained in the home for nearly 2 years remains clear.
But it seems like you're going to string this out for as long as possible.
I will continue to fight this in the court system as I've been doing, and I will continue to do so. There is not an eviction proceeding on this right now. There's no such thing.
Well, we have a 90-day eviction notice in here from Katrina.
I've not seen that.
Okay, let me show it to you. Have you ever seen this before? The 90 days notice to evict?
No, I mean, I would have
December
seen anything that went through the court
2023.
process. I would have seen. I don't remember seeing this.
So you've never seen this?
No, I don't remember seeing it.
Chad, if there's a strong case like that, where somebody loses or whatever, right, and it's a clear bad faith and a bunch of signs, and then there's like some case law, you can just like reference the case law and just fucking like deal with these cases faster.
The document was, in fact, personally served to Steve in hand.
But I don't remember seeing that.
Got it.
Staying on that 100%.
The question is, why are you staying here when you don't own this
I
house?
answered it repeatedly, and you keep wanting to spin it every which way you can.
No,
you don't believe that the court system can handle anything. You don't think that
Not
civil
in
litigation...
Washington State.
Oh, interesting.
And there go the cops.
How you guys doing?
He never asked me.
Yeah, so is he the owner of the property? Do you have proof of ownership here?
Who are you?
Dude, he never asked him to leave. He invited him at the... What?
Independent
I'm
journalist.
so confused.
Do you have proof of ownership here?
Who are you?
Independent journalist.
Then this is your house? I'm the one, yes.
Can we see the lease agreement?
No, it's none of your business, okay?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm telling you, if this is his property, you have no right to be here.
But our claim is that the owner of the property...
Okay, that's wrong. It's if the person to this property and has stated that you can't be there. Well, it has to be both. Like
property has said we have full permission to come here.
Who's that?
Katrina.
Oh, Katrina.
This is her lease. She gave us permission to be here.
So, where's she at?
She's been advised to stay away by his attorney because he's allegedly squatting. He's allegedly a squatter.
And you guys are here to
do a story about squatting.
Okay, so you're just not here to do a story. You're injecting yourself into this. Is that what I'm getting?
Do you guys have a previous relationship we should be aware of?
No.
Not at all.
It should be as simple as him providing valid ownership of the...
Him for his lease.
He doesn't have to provide it to you.
Why is that?
How about to you, sir?
No, it's a civil problem.
Wait, so anyone can come to any property and say, I own the property, and you kick the other person out? With that being said, I own the property. Can you just prove otherwise?
And if you can't, can you prove he does?
Here's the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't care what property you own.
Sure.
Okay.
So could I come to your house and say I own your property?
No, but you're purposely injecting yourself in here to
Nope.
draw attention to yourselves.
What are you talking about?
Why are you here? You're here.
To get his side of the story.
Maybe he doesn't want to give his side of the story.
Correct, which is why he called you to kick us out.
It's a civil problem. We're looking up the plot ownership right now to see who owns it, registered with the county.
So that's the due diligence you guys should do.
Dude, that takes like fucking like 3 minutes. Like what? What?
Here's
Dude,
plot
this is
ownership right now to see who
mind-boggling.
owns it, registered with the county.
So you can see that this YouTuber is like he does some editing and some whatever, and yeah, he's like a content demon. But at this point, this guy makes no sense at all. This guy's just trolling it.
So that's the due diligence you guys should do.
Here's what I wish. I wish I would have shaved better, got my hair done, so I looked better for this thing here.
You look good though.
Okay.
So when you say it's all a civil problem, can you explain what that means?
If the woman says it's her property and he says he lives here and she says they're squatting, she would have to go to court and go through the entire legal process to have him evicted.
Okay, but I live here now.
Well, you do?
Sure.
Well, good for you.
So kick me out.
It's a civil problem.
Okay, so
why?
We're roommates?
That's done through the courts.
So, sir, you're
So I've officially moved in as of today with that logic.
Well,
And I have a bedroom in the second room.
We can go through this all day long.
But let's simplify it. Let's just look up who has the title here. Okay, we can both agree that's crazy logic, though, right?
Steve, I could set up a tent here tonight and you can call the King County Sheriffs and they can't kick me off because it's a civil matter.
Well, tonight, no, we could.
What do you mean?
There's a time frame. You don't live here right now. You can't just move in instantly have residency.
Dolphin dive through the window, set up a tent.
Still have to live here.
Or an invalid. I have a lease right here.
I'm not telling you to live.
And then it comes the semantics of the law of how do you prove that you live somewhere? How do you establish residency? And sometimes in some states it's as little as like it could be anything. He could have dropped a pillow in the backyard, right? And say, oh yeah, well, I mean, my bed is at the backyard. You could go look, and there's a pillow there. Well, I live here. It's what it is. What it is.
I do live here.
How long have you lived here?
10 months.
Well, then you live here.
So here's the deal.
Talk to me.
So this property's in conflict over a civil court about who owns the property, who doesn't, between this gentleman and lady.
And who else?
Katrina Freitag.
Freitag,
So
correct.
he right now by court he has legal right to be here.
Legal right to be here, as do I.
No, he is part right now until the court decides what's going on. He has the right to be here, and he owns the property until
He owns the property?
That's
what you just found?
It's in court.
Okay, but this is my property.
They don't have the words for it.
Yes, it is.
You're not in the civil thing.
Disprove it.
I just proved it on the phone in the CAD.
Who owns the property? We have
Katrina Freitag and this gentleman they own the property.
They both own it.
Yeah, the cops are just they're just brain dead. I mean, I don't think it's their job to know about like those laws. It's just articulating it, I think.
So Steve aside, this has become a broader Washington dilemma here. Well, there's a civil thing between the three of us potentially now, because I also live here.
Good. How do I know they're the owner? Right?
Sure, I mean, I have the title right here.
Well, you could have typed those at home.
Exactly.
So that's what you're saying.
That's my whole point. Yeah. This is literally my point.
I know.
Do this to the camera. While the Housing Justice Project was initially created to prevent homelessness during COVID and to provide legal representation for low-income tenants facing eviction in King County, now it seems to protect alleged white-collar squatters who refuse to pay rent in $2 million plus homes they're renting, all at the cost of taxpayers working to survive paycheck to paycheck. What is the point of owning a home in Washington if the law will legally protect someone trying to steal it from you? And what is the point of a law that no longer represents what it means to be moral or ethical? Is that not a broken law?
Please don't say you're going to come to my house again, all right?
Okay, I didn't mean it like that.
You will regret it.
And go follow Jonathan on X at CHO for an in-depth investigation into Steve Hickey and updates along the way.
Yeah, try that in the red state. Yeah. Okay, here it comes. Yo, this is X on the beat, yo. Okay. Watch my voice as well. That is. Anyone knows that boy? I don't know, he's just so soy. Anyone knows that boy? I don't know, he's just so soy. Okay, that was pretty good.